are listening to Blood and Sun, a Vampire the Masquerade audio drama produced from actual play. Blood and Sun, Episode 1, Spring Breaks.
(1985). Miami is a city at its zenith. An energy tears through the streets, electric. The clueless optimism that possesses the era bursts the social fabric at its seams, behind which a flood of denial threatens to drown the next 2 decades in a deluge of ennui. Why care about such things? Those are problems for tomorrow. A can kicked down an alley. Right now, Claire Mathers is on spring break. She'd just have some fun. Relax a bit from her studies. That's what Patricia said, right? Study for her future career could wait. She dragged Claire out of her pile of medical textbooks, out of the Pacific Northwest, some time away from the Puget Sound. Instead, the pulsing sound of the Miami club scene. Now Claire sits in room 365 of the Wynwood Marriott Hotel, waiting for her friend to get ready for a girls' night out. Patricia is singing badly in the bathroom. When she leaves, she is still blow-drying her hair, fluffing it to get more volume.
Hey, close that textbook. Get dressed. We're gonna be late.
I'm ready to leave when you are.
You're really going out like that? You know we're going to a metal club, right? Where's your edge?
I don't have any band shirts. I just have this.
Ugh, lame. Come on, loosen up. Have some fun.
Trisha, I am having fun. I had a great time going around town earlier today.
Well, a great time for me is hooking up with Greg tonight and making the most of our last night of spring break. That's not gonna happen if you let Terry down by wearing that.
Terry will be fine. Besides, last time he saw me, he looked like a drowned rat. The bar is pretty low.
You did save him from drowning. It was super romantic. And tonight you were going out with him to a club. And what, you're just gonna meet him looking like that? So much for a strong start.
Well, I mean, okay. Can I borrow one of your band tees or something?
This is all I have, actually.
Alright, so I'm going in this.
She returns to the bathroom to finish getting ready. After that, the pair depart for their night on the town. It's quite a bus ride. The club is north of the city proper, almost in Fort Lauderdale. The monastery becomes very obvious as the bus nears it. The structure was illegally purchased and imported brick by brick from Spain. Claire remembers reading that somewhere. Painstakingly reassembled into a place of worship in the 1960s. The expense of the construction, however, caused the new owners to sell the property to the highest bidder. Ever since then, the monastery had become a staple of the Miami nightclub scene. Recently rebranded into the metal venue Hail Mary. The club seems to be alive tonight. Many people are gathered, and it's not long before Claire spots their pair of dates. Patricia's date, Greg, seems dressed for the occasion. Claire doesn't know where Patricia picked up the young man, but he's handsome. Terry, Claire's date, is there beside him. He looks more than a bit nervous, and certainly isn't dressed for this venue.
Yo, Patty! Ladies, over here!
See, Terry's not dressed up either.
Just because Terry is a stick in the mud like you doesn't make it okay. All the more reason to make sure you two loosen up and actually enjoy yourselves.
We'll see. Maybe I'll have a drink or two.
It doesn't take long for everyone to make their way through the queue and into the nightclub proper. The interior of Hail Mary looks like a Spanish monastery. but with more neon lights, fog machines, and strobes. The quartet find a booth and make it their home, going and getting drinks from the bar and occasionally taking turns venturing out onto the dance floor. The night becomes increasingly comfortable the more alcohol everyone consumes. Claire finds herself waiting at the bar for drinks.
So,
Oh, hey, I lost you out there. How's it going with Greg?
Greg's fine. Not a real catch to keep, but I asked you.
I don't know.
Both of you have been sitting there barely talking to each other. You have to make a move. Take the initiative. He sure as hell isn't.
I mean, what am I supposed to say? I saved your ass, you better be a good date.
Look, I'm gonna take Gary. Greg. I'm gonna take Greg out on the dance floor and give you two some privacy. Just try talking to him, Claire. Please. For me.
Alright, fine. Spring break won't last forever.
Claire slams back the rest of her margarita that she ordered, and then orders two more. One for herself and one for Terry. She heads back over to the table with Patricia. Patricia is true to her word. She takes Greg by hand and eagerly leads him out onto the dance floor, leaving Claire and Terry alone with each other.
Oh, thanks. What do I owe you?
No, it's fine. I've been saving money before we left for spring break. I don't even think we're gonna spend all of it before we get back.
Oh, yeah, cool. Thanks.
Are you, feeling better?
Huh? Oh, yeah, I'm all good. I didn't really get a chance to thank you for the other day when you pulled me out of that riptide.
Yeah, it's fine. Anyone would've.
Well, I'm glad that you did. So, what do you do other than save people?
I'm a med student, actually.
Oh, so you do just save people. You must spend a lot of time studying.
Yeah, it can be tough. Sometimes the chemistry stuff is a bit much, but Patricia is pretty good at it and tutored me a bit.
But if the other day was anything to go by, I'm sure you're going to make a great doctor.
Thanks. So, do you dance?
Oh, if you call it that.
The two dance for a long while, only stopping when they begin to tire. After half an hour to an hour passes, the whole group arrives back at the booth they were calling home. Everyone seems far more relaxed and in much higher spirits. Anecdotes are swapped around, more drinks are ordered, and more drinks are enjoyed. Greg reveals that he's holding and produces a small plastic bag filled with a fine pinkish powder.
Ooh, what's that?
They call it Flamingo Stardust. Hottest line in the city right now.
Can I try some?
Woo! Now that is the good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Gosh.
Wow.
I'm good, man, thanks.
I'll pass to, more for you guys, I guess.
What? No, you only do one bump of this stuff.
Patty, you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Wow. That's honestly a lot better than I expected.
Greg surveys the group and then points to a door off to the side, marked staff only.
Hey, check it out. It's open. You guys want to see what's back there?
Well, it would be private.
All in silent agreement on the matter, the four shift over and slowly approach the door. When near enough and sure that no one else is looking, Greg opens it for the party, and everyone else files in. It leads to a set of stairs that go down to what seems to be an oddly modern basement. It's not exactly well lit, but it is lit well enough to be able to navigate and have a look around. For all intents and purposes, it appears to be a storage area, with boxes and crates filled with what one would expect for supplies found in a nightclub. Greg looks around and leads Patty over to a long crate, claiming the large storage room for their own activities. Patty gives Claire a glance, a look of encouragement.
We could go over there.
He points to a side door. There's another room connected to this one.
Are you sure? It is marked private.
We're already trespassing thanks to those two.
It's fairly dark, darker than the main storage room, and difficult to see.
I'll look around for a light switch. Found it! Oh.
That's quite a lot of cocaine.
Oh, we should leave.
Yeah, this is trouble.
The two quickly leave the drug lab that they have stumbled into and return to the storage room to grab Patricia and Greg. Instead of finding them involved in each other, they instead find them involved in the crate that they were going to sit on just a moment ago. Greg leans over it with a crowbar in hand and manages to pop off the top just as the pair turn the corner.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Guys, we have to.
What the hell are you doing?
Patricia screams. Not at the man who's walking down the stairs, but at whatever Greg is reaching to in the large crate on the floor.
Don't move!
Greg pulls at something, hypnotized, lifting it slowly out of the long crate, and then everything is swallowed in shadow. Claire wonders if she is dead. She wonders what happened to her friends. What's happening to her? She feels her senses have already left her before she realizes that she can open her eyes, that she already has. The basement is dark, and the floor is slick with blood. The room reeks of death. As Claire begins to adjust herself, the harsh voice from before barks a command in German.
Nicht bewegen.
He stands over her, tall, his face a bed of long scars framed by an angry tangle of brunette locks.
Herr Lukas!
Claire doesn't know German, but she understands somehow. She can feel her joints lock, her muscles stiffen. She can hardly breathe, is barely able to move her gaze to the approaching figure the tall German speaks to.
Gut gemacht.
This one is much shorter than the other man, prettier and younger as well, perhaps only a teenager. With one hand, he lifts Claire with a deceptive ease.
You're not going anywhere, meine Fräulein. You cost me my prize. The least you could do is fetch it for me.
The boy motions to someone else Claire cannot see. She's suddenly tossed over to them, caught, but falling over. The blood-slick floor, inches from her face, fills her vision. A sharp pain stabs into her neck, and then... pleasure. Darkness stretches over her. Something forced into her mouth, a thick, viscous liquid. Unpleasant and metallic at first, but then overwhelmingly good. Everything goes dark. Claire stirs from nightmare to nightmare. Now she is a passenger in a speeding car. The deluge outside turns the scenery beyond the tinted windows into a muddy mix of neon blurs. She finds she can move easily enough, but the driver is impossible to look at. And each time she tries, fear bubbles up inside, preventing her. A deep fear. A primordial fear.
Where are we going?
An otherworldly hunger wells up inside her. Instinct says that if she lets this thing keep driving, she will be sated, but there is a condition. There is always a price. And as she thinks the words, the beast driving speaks them.
Where are we going?
Only to what you desire, child. There is always a prize.
Suddenly, a man stumbles in front of the car's path. Panic has set his eyes deep in their sockets. His movements are sluggish, almost in slow motion, yet he isn't struck by the car despite the high speed. Claire realizes that if she does nothing, this man will die. She lunges for the wheel, and the beast driving simply releases it to her. Its monstrous visage still a mystery. Claire wrestles the wheel toward herself quickly, but it may be too late. Snapping out of it, out of the car, away from the driver. Claire is in control now, whether she likes it or not. Leaning back, Claire gains a greater awareness of her surroundings. She's in an alleyway. Something large and awkward is around her neck, and straddled beneath her is a man. The notched bite marks of some animal decorate his neck, and blood seeps from his wounds. The front of his collared shirt is stained a beautiful burgundy. The man is dazed, eyes lost in the distance. But more than anything, he seems paralyzed by an animalistic fear. A deer in the headlights. Or rather, one already caught by a wolf. She sees her bloodied hands and the red mess that coats her front. Claire pulls away, realizing that she has done this to him.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't realize that I hurt you. Are you okay?
Get away from me! You're a fucking vampire! Get off of me! Get the fuck off of me!
Claire scuffles away from her panicking victim, and as she backs up, a broken mirror in the alley catches her eye. A macabre mockery of herself stares back. She's still dressed in what she wore to the Hail Mary, but she's deathly pale and horribly fanged. Her arms and chest are stained in dried blood that isn't hers. The large thing around her neck is a collar of some strange design, with loose wires and beeping attachments. It then dawns on her. Every pulpy action flick she had ever seen is telling her that this is a bomb. As her would-be victim hurriedly stumbles out of the alley, he bumps into a silhouetted figure. Someone shorter, not much taller than Claire. The shadowy figure leans forward. Their eyes glow with a pale green light as they whisper to the panicked man.
Walk yourself to a hospital. Forget everything else.
The bleeding man calms himself, then straightens up before walking out of the alley as if nothing were amiss. The mysterious figure approaches Claire, slowly stepping into the moonlight. He's a thin blonde man, wearing a teal suit over a navy button shirt spotted with a pattern of spider lilies. He unholsters a gun from under his arm and points it at Claire.
What do you want?
Her question seizes him. A puzzled look crosses his face. The man lowers his revolver slightly.
What's your name?
I'm Claire. Claire Mathers.
Those bastards must not have starved you long enough.
I don't think I have any money on me. I don't know where my clutch is.
This isn't a robbery, kid. Didn't you see what you did to that man? Have you had a good look at yourself yet?
What's this around my neck? What's happening to me?
Well, you're not exactly human anymore, darling. Your victim was right. You're a creature of the night, like in the moving pictures.
Moving pictures? He called me a vampire.
We call ourselves kindred, but yes, right on the money. And in case it slipped your mind, doll, I'm the one with the gun here.
Right, yeah, sorry.
What's the last thing you remember? Names, faces, anything?
I went out with my friend Patty, Patricia Holmes, to Hail Mary, that club near Fort Lauderdale.
I don't care about your kind friends. Where were you attacked? What did they look like?
In the basement of the club, there were two of them. They both had accents. Germans. One was big with scarred up face, and some teenager. He was really strong, though, and the other seemed to be taking orders from him. It was really dark. I don't know. I can't remember. Please help me.
Oh, damn it.
He's clearly conflicted and bites his lower lip, revealing that he's similarly fanged.
Damn it. Look, there are rules. You are dead, no longer human. I shouldn't even be helping you, but you've been put in a hard place by some real bastards, and that's not fair. Look, I'm going to get this bomb collar off you, but you can't prance around announcing what you are. You understand?
Yes. Yeah.
And your kind friends, if they're still alive, if you care, you'll forget about them, okay? You understand?
Yes.
Go to the South Point Pier. Ask for a kindred there named Caleb. He'll get you up to speed. He's your best chance in the city right now. Got it?
Caleb, got it.
Go straight there. Don't loiter. Don't go to the police. And don't go near any humans if you can help it. You'll just cause more people to suffer.
All right.
Here, take my coat.
Thank you?
It's because you're drenched in blood, darling. Cover yourself.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, bye, I guess.
From the alley, the streets look familiar to Claire. A cursory glance as she steps out confirms this. She's in Wynwood, the same part of town that her hotel is in. She can even see the high-rise from here. Her room that she shared with Patricia, room 365, is only a few blocks away, and in it, safety, a shower, a fresh change of clothes, a phone, maybe even Patricia. She could find out what happened to the others, what happened to Terry. The Marriott is only a few blocks away, and while Claire's stroll did nothing for her shock and was illuminating to the temper of the city, it is not what one would expect from the nightlife of Miami during spring break. The streets are barren, even as the distant explosions and gunfire fade away. The only signs of life she sees as she nears the Marriott are the speeding fire engines and ambulances, tailed each by a handful of police cruisers. The Marriott at Wynwood lobby spills light into the dark street. There are guests inside, waiting, each wearing a worried expression, a look one would expect of individuals stuck in their hotel by police mandate. Claire wipes her hand and face with the inside lapel of the blazer. She checks herself briefly in the reflection of a window for any visible blood on her person. She determines that this will do for now, but she should beeline straight to the restroom as soon as she enters to do a more thorough job. Claire enters the lobby, passing the guests loitering around the entrance. They paid little attention to her, most seemingly more annoyed that their plans for the evening have been canceled. The lobby itself is rather luxurious, spacious, even with the small crowd. A bellboy rests his head on the front desk at the far end of the lobby, right before the elevators. No one pays Claire much mind as she slips into the women's restroom, ensures it is empty, and then locks the door. The restroom is clean and well maintained. The crisp aroma of a lemon-scented cleanser hangs in the sanitized air. Under the even fluorescent lighting, her reflection startles her even more than it did in the dim alley. She's pale enough to be dead. At best, someone may assume she's caught a bad bug. She places a hand on her forehead. Cold. She checks her pulse, or rather, her lack of a pulse. In disbelief, she checks her carotid artery and she finds much the same. She gasps and freezes. Her teeth. So she wasn't just seeing things in that alley. She has fangs. Claire leans over the sink, closer to the mirror to get a better look. They're retractable. Stained with... She stops herself before the panic sets in, holding herself together. She needs to focus, at least long enough to better clean herself up in the sink. She's fairly certain her university tank top is a lost cause, but she focuses instead on cleaning the remaining blood off her person. She covers the offending clothing again with the blonde's teal blazer. Back in the lobby, the crowd gathers close to the front glass as a string of police cruisers pass by at a dangerous speed. Claire ignores them and heads to the front desk. The bellboy there is practically sleeping on the job. A mess of red hair peeks out from under his uniform's cap. She approaches and gently raps on the desk with her knuckles to get his attention. His uniform barely maintains a veneer of professionalism over the clearly bored young adult. His name tag reads, Derek.
Oh, yes ma'am. How may I help you?
Hello, Derek. I lost my clutch while I was out tonight, so I don't have my key. Can you get me into my room?
Oh, okay, yeah. What was the room number?
Room 365. It should be under Holmes.
Okay. Okay.
Patricia Holmes?
I'm not seeing a reservation for Holmes at the moment. Oh, wait a second. There was a Patricia Holmes that had a reservation for that room, but that was 2 weeks ago, back in May.
2 weeks? What day is today?
The 5th. June 5th.
Oh, well, I must have been mistaken.
Are you okay, miss? You look kind of sick.
I'm fine. I think it's just everything going on outside. Could you call me a cab?
Yeah, sure thing. Not sure if a cab would show with everything.
Derek dials a number from the desk phone, and after a brief time spent waiting, a cab arrives in front of the Marriott. Claire makes her way out of the lobby as the cabbie waves to her. He's a middle-aged man, and as she enters his cab, she sees a younger picture of him on his registration image. Eddie Jefferson. On his dashboard is a picture of Eddie and his family, a wife and child. This image is more recent than his registration, but it's still a few years old. Eddie looks back at Claire through his rear-view mirror. The corners of his eyes are creased with crow's feet, undoubtedly from a life spent smiling.
Where to, miss?
South Point Park, please.
South Point? Why would you want to go there? It's just a construction site.
Oh, I know somebody that lives nearby.
Okay. So, what brings you to Miami during, well, all this?
I came here with friends for spring break.
Huh. Just decided to stay a bit longer because the city was so nice? You know, most cabbies aren't working during all this chaos. You're lucky I was around. It's not safe with the drug wars, or whatever the police are calling it.
Yeah, I bet.
So, who's this friend you're going to meet?
You know, friend of a friend. They told me it'd be safer out there, so...
Yeah, well, they're not wrong. Miami used to be a lot nicer. I don't really know what's going on, rival gangs or cartels or something, but some kind of infighting.
Yeah, I hope I don't get caught up in it.
Nah, just keep your head down. I'm sure you'll do fine. Spring break can't last forever.
Yeah.
The fare continues to tick upward as Eddie drives and Claire begins to take a heightened notice of it. More importantly, her lack of any means by which to pay it. The cab crosses the bay and eventually arrives at the destination. Just as Eddie described, South Point Park Pier is a fenced-in construction area, a future site due to be completed in a matter of months, if not weeks. The cab rolls to a smooth stop on the lonely street, and Eddie turns slightly toward Claire.
Well, we're here, miss. That'll be 9:57.
I can't thank you enough for getting me out of there. It seemed like it was getting really dangerous in that part of town. Again, thanks for doing it pro bono.
Yeah. Sure thing. I got a wife and kid. I couldn't leave a young lady in a dangerous situation like that. Be safe, okay?
Thank you so much. What was that?
Claire closes the cab door, and Eddie drives off into the night, leaving her alone in front of the gated construction site of South Point Park Pier. The streetlights thin out as Claire nears the area. The site itself is dark, illuminated only by the moon. As expected from a construction site in the wee hours, there doesn't seem to be anyone else here. She loiters around the fence till she finds a gate that is already open. Inside the construction site is a temporary building for the foreman, and next to it a row of outhouses. Powered down equipment is parked about, opposite various potted foliage yet to be placed, and pallets of grass ready to cover the fresh dirt. A newly poured path of concrete leads its way to a pier that stretches out into the distant ocean. Claire walks toward the pier. It soon becomes apparent that there are silhouettes underneath it, and the closer she gets, the more of them stare at her, their eyes catching a glint of the moonlight.
Hello?
So much for our secret meeting spot. This is what I'm talking about, guys. We've got leaks.
Doesn't exactly help bringing it up all the time.
Oh, apologies for giving a shit.
Just send her off. We don't have the manpower for babysitting.
We would have helped them before. Nothing has changed just because the sheriff has moved into town, okay?
The speaking silhouette walks out into the moonlight. He's a handsome man, but rough around the edges, likely in his 30s. He's dressed plainly in a slightly dirtied denim jacket, with jeans pulled over a pair of biker boots.
What's your name?
Claire, I was told to look for Caleb.
I'm assuming they kidnapped you? Bomb around the neck, the whole 9 yards?
Yeah, how did you know?
It's been happening a lot recently. I'm guessing you're pretty confused right now?
Yeah.
See?
The group of silhouettes acquiesced. Their tension dissipates, and a few of them disappear deeper under the pier. Meeting must be over, as only 2 linger. The man turns his attention back to Claire.
Name's Caleb. I'm the closest thing to a leader around here. We'll set you up someplace to stay. It's going to be daylight in a few hours. You're going to want to avoid that. We'll give you a rundown in due time.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
No problem. Do you know what a Nosferatu is?
Like the old movie?
Close enough. All right, Grace, get out here.
Grace steps out of the shadows. From Caleb's description, Claire was honestly expecting worse. While Grace's face is a bit twisted up, her teeth sharp and protruding, and her nose, well, there's very little of it. She does somehow make it work.
This is Grace. She's a Nosferatu. Don't hold it against her. She's a real sweetheart.
What's up, Lick?
Her colorful blouse is tucked into a pair of jeans and sneakers.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Grace here is going to hole you up in one of her safe houses. She has a few to spare, right?
Yeah.
She'll also answer any questions you might have. I'm sure you have a lot.
That sounds great. I guess I owe you one.
Caleb waves his hand and walks over to Grace.
Don't let her know too much. We don't know where she's going to fall yet.
Grace motions for Claire to follow her under the pier.
All right, Lick, follow me. What do you know? What don't you know?
Well, I know that I'm a kindred.
Looks like someone gave you some kind of introduction, at least.
That introduction typically involve a bomb collar?
Only if you're lucky. The ones that did that to you, they're called the Sabat. Real assholes.
I'd say.
You were what they call a shovelhead. They embrace a few dozen unlucky bastards, starve them, make them frenzy. Sometimes they just set them loose. Sometimes they put bombs on them.
So, you guys aren't with them?
No, we're a different outfit. We're the anarchs.
What about the guy that found me? Blonde? It seemed like he almost left me for dead.
No clue. Maybe a cami, though.
Cami?
Camarilla. Real stick-up-the-ass types. Stickler for the rules. They've got a prince, he calls the shots, and everyone else toes the line. Though, if you did get got by a cami, you probably would have been executed. Look, you found the right group of people. We're a little looser on the organization side, but there are still some rules. You can't tell anyone about us, or our societies, or anything like that, all right? The camis like calling it the Masquerade. It's one of their rules. We're not really too keen on many of their rules, but that's one of the exceptions. It keeps all of us safe. It allows us to exist without being hassled by assholes who want us dead.
Got it. I'll do my best to not cause problems.
There's some other rules, but you don't gotta worry about them just yet. Just focus on getting to tomorrow, okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit tired.
You're not gonna have a problem sleeping through the day. Don't worry about that.
As sand gives way to concrete beneath their feet, Claire notices that she's no longer walking under a pier. At some point, Grace had led them into a large storm drain. Passages twist and turn into yet more and more passages. Yet Grace leads Claire with ease till they reach the ladder. Grace motions for Claire to climb it, and she follows behind her. At the top, a heavy metal hatch opens into a small room that seems to be part of a larger building. The door to the exit is locked from this side. Inside the room is a small bedroll on the floor, a battered-looking antenna TV, and a small box with a worn sci-fi novel resting inside. Grace doesn't fully exit the ladder, only poking her upper body into the space.
Just stay put here until tomorrow night. You can leave if you really want to, but I wouldn't recommend it. Not until you've been brought more up to speed. There's a whole war out there.
I'll stay put for the time being, I suppose.
Grace nods, giving Claire a sympathetic look before wordlessly departing back down the ladder, shutting the hatch behind her. Claire reaches over, turns the handle lock on top of the hatch, sealing herself in her personal haven. Meager as it may be, she feels relatively secure. She makes herself as comfortable as she can on the bedroll. Sleep comes easily. This night had without a doubt been the most harrowing and exhausting experience in Claire's life, or rather, unlife. She isn't sure what the future may hold for her, but she hopes it'll bring easier times. Reunion with friends, and maybe she'll wake up tomorrow, and all of this will just have been some bad dream.
Thank you for listening to Blood and Sun, a Vampire the Masquerade audio drama produced from actual play, starring Reddus as Claire, Kat Murray as Patricia, Zach Amory as Greg, Jacob Rochek as Terry, Furin as Gottschalk, Zach Triciak as Lucas, Maria Corcovado as The Beast, Elk as Rory, Chris Ramey as Derek, Scott Summers as Eddie, The White Shadow as Dylan, Captain Chantey as Caleb, Ash Albiniak as Grace. Edited by Dallas Welk. Original music composed by Zach Amory. Written by AMAC and Reddus, and directed by AMAC. Blood and Sun is an unofficial fan project made possible via Paradox Interactive's Dark Pack licensing agreement, which allows fan projects like Blood and Sun to exist. Portions of the materials are the copyrights and trademarks of Paradox Interactive AB and are used with permission. All rights reserved. For more information, please visit worldofdarkness.com. Blood and Sun is produced by Dead Set Media. For more information, visit deadsetmedia.com and support the project via Patreon at patreon.com/deadsetmedia. Keep up with Blood and Sun by visiting vampirebs.com. Tune in next time for episode 2, Her Place in the Sun. See you soon, Lick.